Hey everybody, welcome to another worth your time video. Today we're going to take a look at Darwin Project. In a genre that is dominated by PubG and Fortnite's Battle Royale mode, I didn't think there would be enough room for anything else. I initially wasn't even going to try Darwin Project, but I'm glad that I did. Darwin Project, like PubG and Fortnite, is one of the latest Battle Royale in an early access stage, currently open beta testing a few days at a time. However, Darwin Project takes the conventional 100-player free-for-all deathmatch that has made this genre a staple of the gaming industry and condensed it into something more personal, more arcade-like, and more intimate. You see, you don't kill each other with guns or grenades or vehicles. No, in Darwin Project, you and 9 other people will use an axe, a bow, and various arrows alongside a slew of traps and spells to take others down. Time to kill in Darwin Project is the highest among all of the Battle Royale games currently, as both your melee attacks and bow shots can be deflected by the opponent if timed correctly. Even if you do snag any successful hit though, it's going to take a few shots at least, with the bow, on the head to be precise, one more if you just land body shots, to take your opponent down. Most opponents will go down between 3 and 4 hits with whatever you choose to attack with, bow or axe, more or less. The aforementioned spells help to keep you alive or get out of dodge when things get dicey. Spells like invincibility, a super boosted jump, teleportation over 100 meters, a deployable turret, an invincibility shield, a radar, and more. These skills, once unlocked, operate on a cooldown and add an extra layer to the already enjoyable combat. I mentioned earlier that these battles are more intimate, and while the longer time to kill helps accomplish that, nothing does more than the built-in voice chat, and the tendency for most players to actually use it. The coolest part is that a dead player can spectate you or your opponent and talk to you or anyone in your vicinity, giving the mid to late game a sense of real community interaction, beyond the toxic stuff you tend to hear in the lobbies of PubG and Fortnite.
Kill.
3 players remaining.
Wow.
That's why I did it. You look like the
Players
strongest one. You
remaining.
can handle the
That's some bull.
Yeah.
Go in and kill him, bro. He's right there. One shot.
Wow. Good shit. That's
Actually, oh dude, my axe is like not swinging. I swear.
I tried to help you
keep
guys.
clicking.
So while the combat is engaging, fun, and helps to bring the community together in ways that I really haven't seen before, what about the rest of the game? Well, as soon as you spawn, randomly might I add, your goal is to run around and find special glowing trees to chop down for wood, chairs to harvest leather from, chests and robot deer that give random loot, and electronics, which are used to craft spells at a 1-to-1 ratio, and are usually highly contested for that reason. You and the 9 other people in Darwin Project's 10-person free-for-all mode will spawn in one of 7 hexagonal-shaped areas that are interconnected with each other in a hexagonal shape. In these zones, you will have randomly spawning electronics that everyone can see on the map. As time goes on, though, these zones will begin to shut down one by one. You won't want to stay in these shutdown zones either because the entirety of the map takes place in winter, and you can die from being too cold for too long. The remedy to cold is to find some wood real quick and make a fire. Staying in a closed zone after the warning expires will drain your cold meter much faster. You can also stay warm by using the wood and leather you found in the world, or off of the bodies of your opponents, to craft coats that can keep you warmer longer, or make your axe do more damage, or increase your movement speed and sprint stamina. Resisting cold and increasing movement speed is useful in a game that has tracking mechanics like Darwin Project does. You can track someone's location by inspecting a tree or a chair they've cut resources from. The same thing can and will happen to you, however. This is where what you craft comes into play as something important to consider before going into a match. You can change your loadout's axe, coat, and boots. Doing so may give you the ability to heal more on a kill instead of more damage, or get a lower speed boost overall, but instead get an extra speed boost when tracking someone or being tracked, or just focusing on raw stats instead of having secondary stats like being able to resist cold more, as opposed to resisting a little bit of cold and getting a stamina boost. The choice is yours, and it all feels relatively fair in my small time with Darwin Project. This loadout system also applies to the spells and buffs that are available to everyone once you've found an electronic somewhere as well. The final piece to this Battle Royale puzzle lies in the fact that there is an 11th player who joins the match, but there's a catch. The catch is that this 11th player is called the Director, and his job is to watch over the entire match and, like an angry deity, sprinkle divine intervention amongst the 10 other players, delivering anything from a clutch heal to a warming or speed drone, or even a short-term invincibility shield. The Director accesses these one-time use abilities via a points-generated over time system. Some of the bigger abilities can change the map wildly though, from closing down extra zones, decreasing gravity for a whole zone, making your jumps crazy high, to even dropping a nuke that, if it hits you, then you're just dust in the wind. The Director can spectate any player at any time and even converse with them, making the match even more interconnected between everyone, which I personally enjoy. I have yet to meet a Director that was a toxic dickhole to me by any stretch. While the early game can tend to be a little slow, a little monotonous, just running around trying to grab resources, the late game is where things get really interesting, because by then you have your loot, you're doing more damage, you might even have some spells to make things interesting. Like for example, chests oftentimes spawn in houses alongside some leather. Well, what you can do, and what I did, was I went into a house and I had a fake chest that I could craft myself using a little bit of leather and a little bit of wood. So I did, and I placed it against the wall so that it looked fairly real. Then I hid in the corner and used my camouflage. I noticed somebody was nearby, and so I did this. Well, somebody walks in and goes to check my chest, and now if they open it, they will take some damage. Unfortunately, this individual didn't open it. He must have realized that it was a fake. However, it still gave me the perfect opportunity to sneak up behind him and start just slamming him with my axe. Now, when you get hit with an axe or an arrow, you bounce back quite a few feet. And when you're inside an enclosed space like that, like a cabin, he bounces off the wall back towards me, and if you don't really know what you're doing, you can just repeatedly bounce somebody off of the wall using your melee hits, and I killed him just like that. It was great. And meanwhile, everybody in the chat who was watching me was all like, "Oh my god, holy crap," and just like kind of cheering me on, or maybe complaining that was cheesy or whatever, and I was like, hey, don't hate the player, hate the game kind of thing. But it was still a great moment, and that's something I'm not going to forget. It's just not something that you'll see really in any other Battle Royale at the moment. Even though Darwin Project is another upcoming Battle Royale title, there is a lot going for it that sets the game apart while remaining accessible and fun from both a gameplay and communitarian perspective. Darwin Project is an upcoming free-to-play Battle Royale experiment, coming to both Xbox and PC platforms with Mixer streaming support, allowing Mixer viewers to help with voting for players in any match to receive buffs and help instead of just at random. And you can bet that I will be personally streaming this on my Mixer channel all the time once the next game's open beta hits again. In the meantime, you can find me over there on my channel streaming Escape from Tarkov, or maybe some similar games here and there, but mostly Escape from Tarkov, so feel free to stop by and drop a follow and wait for the stream to go live. I stream at least every other day starting at midnight Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Western, and there will be a link to access such Mixer channel both in the description and on screen. I hope you enjoyed this review of Darwin Project. Thank you for the view and like, of which I both appreciate. I will have more reviews coming in the near future. Never stop gaming.
Nuclear missile has landed. Center zone.